If you've been looking for clarity in your business, it can often be hard to know what direction to move into. I want to share with you something that I learned that completely changed my business and gave me the direction I needed, and it was not clarity. I want to talk with you about how difficult it can be sometimes to decide where you're going in life and in your business, because I have been there so many times over and over again. And I feel like it's because I was constantly trying to seek clarity. Like clarity, clarity, clarity. Oh, I'm gonna have so many answers, okay? And so I would go with one idea and I'd go with the idea and it was kind of like going somewhere but didn't really feel right. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go down with this idea and it's kind of going somewhere and then, it doesn't really go anywhere. And I started to realize that clarity was not what I needed to seek anymore. And so now you're asking, well, what is it you seek? Why wouldn't you seek clarity? And here's my thought behind all of this is that clarity seeks to validate what you think you're supposed to do with your life, where purpose leads to what God wants you to do with your life. Oh, this was like the biggest change that really gave me direction. I'm going to say it again. Clarity gives you direction for what you think you should do in your life. Purpose gives you direction for what God wants you to do in your life. And the reason why it's such a major switch is because it now goes beyond just what you think you're supposed to do. And this is the trap that I fell into, because I feel like every time I seeked clarity, it was for a metric of evaluation that I was putting on it. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and, I'm going to get a bunch of business and I'm going to get a bunch of followers, and then that's going to equal success. And then I'll know I'm on the right path. Okay, well, that didn't really go anywhere. So let me go down this creative idea. Okay, so when I get a lot of followers, I get a lot of success from this, then I'll know that this idea is working. But you know what happens is that at the end of the day, followers don't mean anything. I've seen so many people that have less than 10,000 followers on a platform and are making millions of dollars. So what does it tell you? That our metrics are often skewed and wrong, and we don't know sometimes in other ways how people are making money and doing certain things. And then you almost have this aha moment, like, okay, if what's not working anymore, I need to go another path. And that is exactly how I felt. And the moment I decided I have to find my purpose in life and I need to seek it out and I need to know why I'm here and why all these lessons happened to me and why I had a business that I thought was going to do forever, why it ended, and why I'm in this new path in my life. Like, what is the purpose of all this? That's when it clicked. And here's some ideas I want to put into your mind that may help you as you're trying to go, okay, well, that sounds really great. But how am I going to find my purpose just because I said that? So going back to what I said is it starts to realize that you have to define the purpose that God has given to you, okay? We have all been brought here into this world to deliver and to be of service to other people in so many different ways, right? Some people's level of service is doing one thing. There's hundreds and thousands of different ways we can do it. But I realized that once I understood that I need to be of value and of service to other people, that will align my purpose. And so, you're probably thinking like, well, I'm already of service to people. I'm a real estate agent. I'm serving them all the time. I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, okay, I'm helping other people. Isn't this enough? But the moment I realized that I was kind of almost unintentionally serving them. Does that make sense? Like, I was doing a good job, but the moment I decided to make a switch in my mind that I need to be bringing the utmost highest level of value to everybody else, and that I am going to make content to help other agents or salespeople really come into their purpose. And the moment you feel that connection, you start to realize that maybe you weren't always doing it the whole time before, and that's okay. You want to know what your purpose is by who you're serving. And when you're serving them, are you doing and giving them the utmost value you possibly can? And if you really start to look at yourself, you're probably going to say, well, I'm giving of myself and I'm doing it, but it's not really clicking. And that's where the purpose comes into play, right? So if you don't have those, I'll use the word clarity yet, for your purpose, right? The clarity is bringing us to our purpose. Then you need to seek it and you need to ask for what that purpose is in your life. A lot of times, I'm going to be honest with you, the answers are right in front of us. I feel like I had this idea to help and to be of service to agents and salespeople and to teach them the things I learned about media and entrepreneurship. But I had this idea 2 years ago. I didn't do anything. I didn't act on it because I didn't know that was my purpose in life. So it just kind of felt like an idea that was floating off into the wind. And who cares? Like, that's not going to work. Now here I am, 2 years behind, right? Not really behind, but truthfully where I could have been had I sought for my purpose. And this idea was really embodied in my mind. I don't know if anyone has ever watched Myron Golden. If you haven't, in my opinion, he's phenomenal at putting biblical analogies to everyday life. I had never perceived that as a way of thinking and of doing actual business based off the biblical teachings. I don't think people are going Bible and business. Those are, things that are going in tandem, but they truly are. You should watch his page. I really was inspired. And since then, I now feel like I go out with so much more intention in everything I do. So I'm going to give you an example. If you're just kind of making content, you're kind of just slapping stuff out there, you don't really care, you're like, I hope I get business from this. That's not of value. That is not of service to the people that you're going to potentially do business with. Right there, you're already now in misalignment with what God wants you to do, which is to serve people at the utmost level in value, okay? The moment you feel that inside of you, you're like, what am I doing? What is the value that I'm giving? How am I showing up online? How am I showing up on my content? How am I showing up for other people? And what about your everyday interactions, right? How are you showing up with someone that you're talking to that might be a potential client? They can feel your energy, whether they recognize it or not. They can feel your passion, and people will say to you that they felt it from you. There's been times where I've done speaking engagements, and I'm so appreciative of the nice feedback people have left that they were like, thank you for your energy, for your enthusiasm. Like, I'm not doing it for those reasons. It's just I'm hyped up about it, right? Because I understand it so clearly that I didn't even realize that that's kind of what I was doing, but that's just because I had so much belief behind what I'm sharing, right? And so when you go out into the world with that level of belief that your purpose is here to serve others, they are going to sense that, and that resonates with people. And you're going to find the people that want to do business with you. I'm going to tell you something right now. In the world of real estate, and this is in sales in general, it is such a normal fashion to just go out and buy leads, and there's technically nothing wrong with that, right? But I'm just telling you, there's so many other ways you can serve rather than having to slap technology companies with your hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to acquire complete strangers to come into your world to convince them that you're the best. There's so many other ways you can do that. One of the best ways is through content creation and being able to bring somebody into your world to provide that value and to give is such a beneficial thing that anyone of any type of business can actually start today, tomorrow, right? We have this technology available to us, and we're consistently undervaluing it and not even utilizing it to its fullest potential, okay? So I want to leave you with this idea in your mind. If you're struggling, if you feel like you don't know where you're supposed to go, but you know that like the answers are there somewhere deep in your soul, I want you to start seeking that purpose. Seek that purpose, that God, and where you need to be taken. Not for validation, not for metrics, not to have the most amount of followers, but truly where you're meant to go, because ultimately wealth will come from you fulfilling your purpose. It's not the other way around. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it inspires you to take action to find your purpose.